Hello there. I have a package. Here's the thing. I have been waiting for this for weeks. I don't know when you're watching this video, but if it's in the late 2020, like it is now, these things are kind of hard to get a hold of. Here we have a Raspberry Pi 400. Because I don't know anybody in the right business, and I'm also not some sort of a journalist, I had to wait to get a hold of it. And here it is. It's a lot smaller than I thought it would be. Saw the box and I was thinking, it's got a little bit of weight to it. Focusing on it. Not much more than chiclet keys. But I don't plan on writing novels on it. So this is actually the Raspberry Pi 400 kit, computer kit, which includes a USB-C power supply and an official Raspberry Pi mouse and a memory card and a nice, not sure what, oh yeah, here we go. Right, an HDMI cable and the official Raspberry Pi Beginner's Guide. Wow, when do you ever get something like this anymore these days, you know? Full color. I mean, that's a somewhat of a large expense. So this lists for $100, and I got it from Canakit. Yeah, Canakit. Now, when I went to go buy this online, nobody had it in stock, and this was mid to early November 2020. Early November 2020, and you know, nobody had it in stock, and so I looked at the raspberrypi.org or whatever, you know, and there you can find a list of dealers, official Raspberry Pi dealers you can buy this at, because it's not going to be available everywhere. It just came out. I found that the only one that seemed to have it in stock was Canakit. I mean, it said they didn't say it was out of stock, and it just says order yours now. And then I ordered it and paid for it, and then like the next day I went back there to, you know, check the status of my order, and it said it was going to ship, you know, in like 10 days or 2 weeks or whatever it was. So I guess it really wasn't available anywhere instantly, other than, like I said, to people that knew the right people or happened to place an order, you know, right before, like a pre-release order or something like that, or just got incredibly lucky. But anyway, you know, the holidays are coming up, and I just have a feeling that these are going to be super hard to find. In fact, I could probably box this back up and wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks and probably sell it for more than I paid for it. Judging by the way these things go. Anyway, so I had the exact same simultaneous idea that many other people did, looking at this, saying, wait, it's a Raspberry Pi inside a keyboard. What does that remind you of? And so I have the exact same idea that other people did. And by now, there's like 3 or 4 how-to videos about it already. So, you know, I do have a lot of experience making how-to videos, making them somewhat professional, as long as they stay in focus. But you know, I've looked at the other videos, and I think that I could go and possibly do another twist on it, be some sort of use, because I ordered this and then I waited like 2 weeks for it to come, and by now, yes, other people have published videos about this already. Anyway, so we are going to attempt to load you know, Amiga emulation software into here. And I'm a real big fan of Amibian. It's designed for the Raspberry Pi. Well, originally it was just for the Raspberry Pi 3, and I believe there's a version for 4 now. But this is not exactly a Raspberry Pi 4 either. So they're all slightly different, even though they look like they're the same. They're functionally the same. They have some new features or whatever, but new parts, but new components. But you know, they, because of the nature of Linux and the fact that you're always building packages on the platform itself, you know, you do have to be prepared if you want to do anything strictly out of the ordinary with it, or just adding one thing. You're going to wind up having to learn how to build packages, which isn't super difficult if you're not too opposed to command line. First I'm going to try just loading Amibian in here, the image, and seeing if it works, but doubt it. But yeah, that's where I'll start. Well, Amibian didn't work. No big surprise there. I also tried AmiBerry and some others. Currently there is no turnkey solution for turning this into an Amiga clone. In case you are unaware, there are several methods for getting Amiga emulation running on the Raspberry Pi. The simplest are to image your SD card with a complete OS that boots right into your emulator. Examples of this are PiMega, RetroPie, and the aforementioned Amibian. These all use the AmiBerry engine, which is part of UAE for ARM, which in turn is basically ported from WinUAE. Currently, none of these image options work on the Raspberry Pi 400, at least not without modification. And yes, I have seen the other videos. There are other ways to install emulation, involving installing packages or even compiling, all via the command line. I have spent hours on this, and we will likely cover some of that in future videos. But there is a relatively simple way to get an emulator running on this right now, with the desktop OS that comes with the Raspberry Pi 400. If you want to boot right into the emulator bypassing the Raspberry Pi's desktop, you will have to wait for some updated packages to be released. So here we have the 400 booting from its SD card into the Raspberry Pi OS, formerly known as Raspbian. You just need to set the country, the time zone, password, screen border, and connect to the Wi-Fi. You may need some updates. And it looks like we're finished. Once we have rebooted, just click the terminal icon here. We update our package information. Then we install Fsuae with this command. Fsuae is another Amiga emulator, and it's available from the regular Debian repository, although it is an older version. Now we can just run it by typing fs-uae. However, this is just the stripped down version. What we want is the Fsuae launcher. This looks a bit easier. I have already inserted a USB stick with Amiga games and Kickstart files, so let's load them. As you should be aware, all Amiga emulators require images of original Amiga Kickstart chips in order to function. These are available for a reasonable cost from amigaforever.com. Finding the USB drive can be tricky for those unfamiliar with Linux. I'm just going to show you the full path from the root directory. It looks like our ROMs are loaded, so let's pick a game. I'm not very good at this game. If you press F12, you can bring up the stripped down FSUAE menu, and we can click the X to stop the emulator. So that's not too impressive. Let's see what a game with more CPU requirements does. By the way, you don't have to launch it from the terminal. Here it is as a shortcut. And that is the quickest and easiest way that I have found to emulate an Amiga on a Raspberry Pi 400, at least as of right now. You can look forward to more videos about it in the future, so click the subscribe button so you don't miss them, and thanks for watching.